Hey, it's Brock here from Rock Hill Farms. We're out here today to do a comparison on these two different styles of stump grinders. We've got a Mahindra 16 horsepower tractor and then the 2038R. We have my articulating stump grinder and a fixed mount stump grinder from Woodland Mills. I'd really been wanting to give one of these a try because a lot of people ask me, you know, my opinion on it, and I can't give one if I've not ran it. So this should be fun. We've got a whole bunch of stumps up there to grind. We're gonna move some brush with the grapple. Sound fun?
Yeah.
So we'll jump on these tractors and get started. Before we could start grinding stumps, we had some logs to get out of the way. So this is my cousin Chris, and he's been using a YouTube solution on his Mahindra to move these logs with basically making homemade pallet forks out of some 2x4s. So I'm going to show you that in a minute. But having never used a grapple before, what do you think of it?
Takes some getting used to, but awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty handy, but the first thing I think that you mentioned was that there's not as much visibility. The 2038R blocks the view like 3 foot in front of the tractor, so you just have to kind of have a feel for it. But better than the 2x4s, I guess.
Yeah. I'm
in favor though of those kind of redneck engineering solutions and whatever gets the job done. All right, so we're gonna start off with a couple of medium-sized stumps. This is probably, I don't know, 18-inch diameter. Not bad at all. We'll grind one this size with my stump grinder, and we'll grind one this size with the fixed unit and see how they compare. First thing I want to say before we even start grinding stumps is I've now ground a lot of stumps with tractor mounted stump grinders. And if there's one point that I would want to make to anyone considering a purchase, it's that it's never just a clean, easy cut. Maybe every once in a while. I think the sycamore I did in the last video ground really easy. But generally, you're going to hit rocks or you're going to hit something else. These tractors don't have downforce, so the grinders tend to bounce. You're going to wear out teeth. You normally are going to want to cut the stump down before you even start grinding. But if you think about it, you know, nature's stubborn. And these trees took a long time to grow, and there's usually just as much stump above ground as there is below ground. So, I love my stump grinder, but just keep in mind that there's nothing easy about running these or removing stumps with them. I thought I just pushed on that before I told you to get it. It didn't move. That is an awesome looking piece of cedar. And if you didn't know any better, you'd think I knew what I was doing. It's got a nice clean cut on it. But let me show you the coloration on that. I don't know what yet, but I'm gonna save that top chunk and see if I can do anything with it. Set the 3-point down. One of those tall levers raises it and one side to side. We need to raise it. Yeah, raise it up, there you go, and then set the 3-point down. All right, I'm gonna let Chris try running this, see how he likes it. So you set the base of the grinder on the ground so that the head doesn't swing whenever you push into the stump. I've already got a lot of full videos on the channel just grinding stumps with this grinder. So I'm going to skip over some of the grinding with this one because it felt about like all the other ones I've ground with it. The one thing that was unique on this, I don't know if it's the cedar or if it's because my teeth were a little bit dull on the grinder, but it seemed like it was smoking. Most of what you see is dust from just really dry ground, but it also did seem like we were getting some white smoke. So here's the mistake everyone makes with stumps. And if someone calls you and you've got a stump grinder and they tell you they've got an 18-inch stump, that's what I called this one a minute ago. Because up here it was only 18 inches wide. Down at the base, the grind area is 49 inches. So this is over 4 foot in terms of pricing it and, you know, showing up to grind this for someone else. And then we have exposed roots above the ground running all the way out this way. So you have to establish with the customer whether that's part of the bid or not. While I said earlier that it might be smoking a little bit as it's burning the wood while it cuts, what you're seeing right now is very definitely dust kicking up, because right in the middle of this stump there's pockets of dirt that are also full of rock. We hit rock every time we ground today, and not just a little rock here and there, but it's amazing how many rocks can be packed right into the middle of a tree stump. This first stump, if I was just guessing, I'd say probably took us 45 minutes to an hour for cutting it down and then getting set up and grinding the whole thing out. Am I taking too much, or is that just how it is? This stump was softer than any of the other ones we ground today, and it didn't have any rocks in it, which was nice, especially since I wasn't just getting used to the grinder. I'd also never ran a tractor with a treadle pedal before, and this tractor has a clutch, and the brake is on the same side as your treadle pedal. So when you think about the most important factor on grinding this is moving across it at a very slow and steady speed so that you're not putting too much pressure on the grinding wheel. It took me a little bit of getting used to just controlling the tractor.
See how it soft was in the middle? I think this is a lot softer stump. So that was a completely different experience running that grinder compared to the other one. But we're gonna do a few more stumps, then I'll try to summarize what I think as far as this fixed style versus the articulating style. I was about to take that stump grinder off, but the tractor's on a regen, so I'm gonna have to wait a minute. Meanwhile, he was cutting this tree down, and there's a rock right in the middle of this stump and ruined 2 chains on it. All right, so I've ran the Woodland Mills stump grinder on his Mahindra, and of course I ran the Baumalight on my tractor. Now we're going to switch, and we can't run the Baumalight on his, but we can run the Woodland Mills on my tractor, and that'll give me a better way to compare which way I prefer by running two different units on the same tractor.
See those sparks right there? That's what this entire stump was. One other thing to point out here is I'm not really comparing Baumalight to Woodland Mills. I'm comparing an articulating grinder to a fixed grinder. Woodland Mills only has the fixed grinder. Baumalight has both.
Had stories about the city life and the crazy nights. Figure I should probably give it a try. Maybe check it out, see what it's all about. But the traffic was fast and the money was slow. The people I met you never get to know. I kinda miss this place I used to live back home. 'Cause up here it's breakneck, paycheck, rat race. What's next? I'm tired of feeling like a small fish in a big pond. I think I'll go back where I came from, where everybody knows my name. My my friends are still the same. I guess the slow life hit me just right, like a bonfire on a cold night. Hell, and you can keep your 9 to 5. Happy with the simple life. Yeah, I ain't here to try to change your mind, trying to save your time. In case you're thinking about breaking out the bucket list, girl, you can skip this funny business. Cause up there it's complicated and overrated. Down here everything is understated. That's alright by me. I got everything that I need, but there is breakneck, paycheck, rat race. What's next? I'm tired of feeling like a small fish in a big pond. I think I'll go back where I came from, where everybody knows my name. All my friends are still the same. I guess the slow life hit me just right, like a bonfire on a cool night. Yeah, you can keep your 9 to 5, cause I'm happy with the simple life. Tired of feeling like a small fish in a big pond. I think I'll go back where I came from, where everybody knew my name, and all my friends are still the same. I guess the slow life hit me just right, like a bonfire on a cold night. Hell, you can keep your 9 to 5, cause I'm happy with the simple life. Oh Lord, you can keep your 9 to 5.
As you can see, this stump's just completely full of rocks. There's just basically nothing you can do about it, because these rocks damage the teeth. The teeth aren't cheap. So if you've got this many rocks, it's just gonna be a little bit harder. And that's really not gonna change no matter what kind of stump grinder you have.
All right, so we're running out of daylight. Almost got this last one out. There's just rocks everywhere. I mean, it's hard to do anything with that because when you hit those rocks, it dulls your teeth, makes it harder to grind. But there's a big difference between the two types of units. The biggest downside I see on the fixed point is it really is a pain in the neck, literally. Just a couple stumps and my neck's sore from sitting turned like that. And the visibility's a little bit rough. But it almost seems like you can do it quicker on wood that'll grind easily. What do you think about the differences between these two?
Yes, yours is easier to use.
You feel like
Hydraulic. Just because you have a better view, you're not twisting your neck.
I kind of see an advantage to the fixed unit a little bit because on a small stump, you're not off the tractor and you just go back and forth across it. But on the bigger ones, I think the articulating is nice. I don't know if for 2.5 times the money, if the average person's gonna use it enough to justify the articulating grinder. So I really had a lot of fun out here comparing them and getting to operate a different tractor. I appreciate you having me. Thank you for watching the video. Just a minute, you'll see links right up here for a couple more of our videos, and I'll see you next time.